How's it going there? Mic check, mic check, mic check. 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 I had to turn the mic off. I haven't had to do that in a while, but I had to turn the mic off and then turn it back on to get it to work. Okay, we are we are live. Oh, good news. I was going over to I needed I don't know how well you can see it. Oh, you can see it pretty good, I guess, as long as you're watching on like a tablet or a computer. My my axe was just about gone. And so I went over and I was farming emerald because I can't farm them here yet. I went over and started farming them over there. I was mining sugarcane and sending golems into the nether to die so I could trade for emeralds. Uh, one of the one of the villagers I got over does have a mending book, and it's I think it's like 12 emeralds. It's not a bad trade. It so I don't know. It's only 2:30. Yeah, it's only 2:30. I might have a co-host. Come here. Come here. I might have a co-host. Okay, you don't want to come up? Okay, I don't blame you. But it's a bona fide mending book. So I bought two of them. I bought one for the axe and I bought one for my weakest armor. And I will buy some more later. But I'm close to getting this finished. I'm not gonna do anything impressive while I'm streaming, just because I don't need the distraction. Uh, I will go over. I should be able to mine some trees, but okay. Now what I've got for you today, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna. I find it. I find one element. The rest of it was pretty good, but I wouldn't have done it. It bumped. It bumped to JFK. I am gonna unless I forget. And if I do, well, if you don't care, then you'll be glad that I won't be doing another stream on it. But I will be doing another stream on JFK. It's JFKX or something like that. And I gotta say, I'm not necessarily saying it's good, but that surprised me. That literally surprised me because I don't think I had ever heard that. It was at least new, or at least new to me. I don't think I ever heard. I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. I don't think I ever heard one about him still being alive. I think that was the one. And it just fucking again, I do these for to get you interested and maybe go watch the whole thing or whatever. But The one is it's on top 10 alien influencers, and I don't know. To me, it seems like a little. It seems a little. It's not like. It's not like influencers. Like there's human people out there that are influencing us on the alien subject. What they are talking about is. Hang on. What they're talking about is aliens, potential aliens or related that have influenced us as a species. And I don't think they should have used that because influencers has a whole different meaning. Uh, it just does. But the legend and other sources, and this is a episode of Ancient Aliens from this season. One, I'm not going to be giving you every detail. I'm going to go into more detail on some other than others, and I'm not even covering the whole list. Um, I do recommend you watch the whole episode. Watch for it like in rerun or get to where like me, I'm recording them when they come up, so I get to see them. But I don't know if they'll have it up on the History Channel on YouTube yet. But History Channel puts up a lot of their videos for you to watch, and you get to watch them just like I do with commercials. Uh, you should be able to. I mean, I might not be able to get it, but mark this one down. Mark this one down. Uh, but I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna wait till we get to it. But there's one of them that I just found. I'm not gonna say I find all but one of them credible, but there's one of them that I find just fucking nuts. I really do. And if it hadn't have been for that one, I don't know if I'd have done it as a stream. But legend and other sources list over 200 other than human influencers, to use their word. Teachers, guides, they might be more accurate. And like Graham Hancock, I think it was on Joe Rogan. He lists one experience what he had. Well, it might be more than one, but there was one he talked the first time he did this ayahuasca, or I might be pronouncing it wrong, but he talks about his first experience with ayahuasca that claims put him in touch with an entity that gave him knowledge that caused him to write a book. I don't think he's a liar. I really don't. The one thing I will say is, and I'm not even thinking that he's this bad. I worry about Joe Rogan. I seriously do. But when you read all of these these legends and rituals and that, every one of them that I've ever run across, and probably not an exhaustive list, when you see them like smoking the peace pipe, any chemicals that they do, they have rituals, and to put the Carlos Castaneda again, I'm gonna probably use this one a lot because I think it's relevant. But there was I think it was the third book. I've read that one far more than the others. It's like when I used to read, I would read the third one, and then I went and read the first one. And I read the third one again, and I went and read the second one. The third one was the only one that was recommended to me to read. But I think I have 5 or 6 of the books. However many I have, I've read all but the last one. and on a good day I can remember that. I remember the third one better because I read it so many times. But on a good day I can remember elements of the book. And it's just a long story. But it was for something not drug related. But it's a long story. It's not. It's going to take me down a path that I just don't want time to waste time on. But he, I was reading it, and one guy, because it was at a place where I had to, I read it on break, and it was on my toolbox the rest of the day. And the one guy, while I was reading it, it was either on or in my toolbox. So the one guy kind of all he did, I mean, I didn't care. I mean, and I think he knew I didn't care, but he kind of looked at the book and I think he read the outside of the book, so so it gave him the cliff notes of it, and we were talking, and he came up and talked to me about it, and it's Journey to Ishlan, and I told him a little bit. I gave him like a little more than the cliff notes, but I gave him like a summary of or at least why I started reading it. And he goes, "Well, you mind if I read it when you get done?" I go, "Yeah." And I really, and I'm just as guilty as anyone else. I don't like loaning things out, but I did get it back. But I figure, well, it ain't that expensive anyways. It's in paperback form. Uh, but I let him borrow it. And I go, hey, when you get done, I'd like your honest opinion, because I consider him more of a thinker than I am, or at least he was when I worked with him. Hell, the guy might not have even survived. He was older than me. He was probably like my age when I knew him in my 20s. But I'm just saying he was an in-depth thinker more than me. So I just wanted his honest opinion. And what he said was, he goes, the guy made a religion around doing drugs. And that's what I was looking for. I just wanted his. I mean, I didn't know if I was going to agree with him, but that's what I wanted. I wanted his like bumper sticker assessment. And I looked at him, and I didn't argue with him. I was just trying to fathom it. And he goes, if I know beer, and he goes, it would be like if I made a religion out of drinking beer, and I structured it in a way to keep people from becoming, who maybe have a tendency for alcoholism, to maybe not. And it was real, and that is, I wanted to say, that's what I was looking for. And it was, and again, I was reading it for something else, but him saying that all those years ago, like 30 fucking plus years ago, is what I'm getting at here. They got all these drugs that have a religion of drug use. And I got a feeling that it's intended to protect them. And you have Graham Hancock and especially Joe Rogan, they're going and just doing it on a whim. Now, whether it's a drug that is bad for you, so you got to be careful, or whether they're right. And like he said, there was some kind of spirit that he ran across. It, I got a feeling it's there to protect you against something. And like Joe Rogan, he might have given a free range to. I mean, again, I don't know I don't know. I've never done it. I don't intend to do it. I got enough fucking problems right now with my health to start popping drugs. But if that's true, that this opens you up, um, maybe Joe Rogan's been open to some things either too much or unhealthy, or maybe what some people would call evil, because something about him. I mean, he's still a damn good interviewer when he sticks to the interview and doesn't try to inject. Like he goes if he isn't out there trying to hawk uh, alternative cures for COVID or whatever, he does some of the best fucking interviews you could get. Now like when he went out and he started speaking out, then he spoke out on Donald Trump on something, or it was something that he thought Biden said, and he's like, "Oh man, he should be removed. He should be put in jail." And they go, uh, "Biden wasn't in office. That was Trump that did that." And then he didn't care about jail. That's a little dishonest. That I have a problem with because he really didn't care about what it was. He just wanted a fucking way to smear Joe Rogan or Joe Biden, and I didn't appreciate that. That's intellectual dishonesty. But I still like his interviews when he does them, so I'm gonna still probably watch him. Uh, but in 1945, the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. They contain some of the oldest copies of the Bible, as well as the books of Enoch and others, several others. And I can't remember the titles, but there was a lot of stuff found in there. But Noah is the grandfather or Noah's grandfather. Enoch is Noah's grandfather, I think. I might be wrong, but I think he's Noah's grandfather. In the book of Enoch, hang on. Um, uh, in the book of Enoch, they talk about the Watchers. They are a group of like an elite group of like 200 angels, and if the people, I haven't read the book of Enoch. If they're lying to me, I'm lying to you. It's just that I'm not doing it on purpose. But so far, I haven't caught the History Channel doing anything purposely bad. Everybody's entitled to make mistakes, but they haven't. They haven't. I don't think they've lied to me on purpose. Everybody gets a. Everybody gets. Everybody can make mistakes. They do a hell of a lot better job than I would on it. But the Book of Enoch, they talk about the Watchers. They've had that names come up, and it's they're like 200 angels, the highest order of angel from God's throne, is what it's talked about. And you gotta think, was this the archangels? They didn't call them that, but they said they were the highest order. It says that, well, they said that it says that it's the highest order of angels. They came directly from God's throne. And, you know, uh, hang on, let me get this finished. Let me get these trees planted. Let me get back over where it's safe. Oh, I'm gonna plant these. Okay, we'll get back. As I light this up, it's becoming more safe, but I just don't want to be over here when it gets dark and then have to run over to the bed. Okay. Um, but they descended to the earth to watch over us and to teach us, to help us. There's nothing in the Bible like this. This was found in a cave with some of the oldest copies of the Bible. I believe at least some of the books of Enoch were found either in the Ethiopian Bible or they were found with the Ethiopians, but nowhere else was it existing. Almost like there was a cleansing, like the Council of Nicaea maybe got rid of them or something. Um, Enoch was said to ascend into the heavens on a fiery chariot. Does that sound like a spaceship? Does it? To be educated in powerful universal knowledge, metallurgy or metalworking, astronomy, and the secrets of heaven. I don't know what they mean by the secrets of heaven. I just don't. I have heard other tales of Enoch, if memory serves, and again, this is like, this is I'm going from memory. You don't even have to trust. If you are interested, you got to, I encourage you to verify, and if I'm right, then trust me. But if memory serves, he was born strange like Jesus, and I just mean that there was like some controversy with his. I'm not saying he was born like Jesus, but it it seems to me he was born, and when he came, they didn't call it a virgin birth, but the father said that's not my child because he was born all white, and I can't think of the name. They were said that they were like an alien race. I think I covered it the other day. Maybe I was just watching it. Maybe I didn't cover it. But there's an alien. Again, I'm giving you all this for information. I'm not. I need proof. Until these aliens show up and visit, I'm not really gonna be a believer. But I find the stories interesting. And but there was like they said there was some kind of form of alien that was white with blue eyes, and and then the males, they said, I think got a funny colored iris as they got older, but otherwise it was like I think blue and white eyes. Well, it sounds like he might be something like that, like a hybrid, like a either a pure alien or he was a crossbreed. I don't know, but again, I'm just saying that that's what it sounds like. I don't even know if it's true or not. Uh, I've heard, yeah, he was just not quite human, and but that was the one where that guy went to the wise man of the village, and he said that's not my son, and he told him that he was, he came to you from God or something like that. You have to cherish, and yeah, whatever. And this is not the one that I find that hard to believe. But again, I'm taking this with a grain of salt. But this is not the worst. This is not. And again, none of them are bad. But this is not the one that's the worst to believe. Uh, the highest order of angels here to teach us. In the Bible, the only thing that sounds like that are Satan and the snake in the garden. The rest of it, it's all about being subservient. But again, in the cave, some of the oldest books, it's written like, oh, they're here to teach us. They're here to, and then what they passed on to us after the flood and everything else, it's because again, Enoch is the grandfather of Noah, and I believe his he's going in. He like lived 800 years, so he lived for a while. But he's Noah's grandfather. Noah's the one for the flood. Just bear that in mind. But again, I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying this teaches us that they're here to teach us, and then what we actually got, it's a story of, oh, it's the people that came to teach us were evil, and these watchers, they descended to earth to teach us. That sounds like Satan. But in the modern stories, in modern it's like 2,000 years old, but in the ones that are older than 2,000, they said they descended to teach us and to help us. And then what we got passed down is, oh, they were evil. They were cast out of heaven. Sounds like they're talking about the same story, but again, is it something that it depends on which side you're on? Like maybe it's all Satan and it's evil and whatever, or maybe they were here to help us and they got defeated, and then this is the story. Oh, the people who were help us were bad because this other alien or this other culture, they wanted us stupid. You know, I mean, that's what it looks like to me. I said the same thing. I think I said this on another one. If George Washington had lost, he wouldn't have been written in a good light. It would have been exactly like this. He would have been written as the fucking, the evil person who rose up and spit on fucking King Charles the Third or whatever his name was. Would have spit on him and fucking raped his wife and whatever. But then when he won, he was revered. He was not considered a traitor. He was not considered an usurper. He was considered a hero. Uh, and I've heard this before, and again, they're not religious people, but they're not brainwashed either. Others have said between the Old and New Testament, it sounds like they're talking about two different gods, or one was suffering from bipolar or schizophrenia. You got the God of damnation, an eye for an eye, and then you got the God of love and peace and understanding. And I think we're still fighting that war to this day because you've got this modern day speaker who, he's nuts. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene who considers herself a religious person. She's talking about Jewish space lasers, and they're talking about how we need this like terrorist like madrasa of Christianity in this. 'Cause they basically want like a Christian madrasas is what they want, and to go and teach the message of hate and evil that they fulfill. And then you've got the other side that seems to be about peace, love, and understanding and education. It's like we're dealing with one party that wants to keep people stupid so they're dumb enough to believe their bullshit. And the other side, they're not banning books. They're teaching peace, love, and understanding. And I don't, I'm getting a little nervous. But, the thing is, maybe I won't live that long. My health isn't good. But I, I'm a little nervous, because I got, even if I got, issues, you know, even if I know I'm going to be gone in like, a year or 2 years or whatever, I got friends. I got friends that I think, are good people. And I don't want to see them live under that shit. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. There's a lot more. They covered a lot more in there. I'm just giving you the highlights. Okay, now the next one is the kami. Not the kami like communist. The Kami, I think it's spelled. They're from Japanese lore, and again, they sound like the Watchers. They're here to watch us and help us and teach us. They are stud to still come to this day. And I think a recent prime minister of Japan, I don't know if it's the current one or it's the one, I think it's either the current one, the one before that, or the one before him. His wife said she was abducted. Could it be the kami? I don't know. Now, and that's all. I mean, again, there's a lot more to this, but I just want to point out they sound exactly like the Watchers. Was it the same beings? Was it like this for Federation of Intergalactic people that are here to teach us? There's one story. I think this is coming from. I think this is coming from. Uh, Oh God, I think it might be Quest TV or something. I can't think, but I don't have access to it. I can watch some of their people on YouTube. Mostly they do interviews on other people, but it it's you've got they've got a lot of stuff on Bob Lazar on there. Uh, uh, I can't remember names. That's beyond me right now. But anyways, but they I think it was one of them that I had seen in an interview or something on YouTube, and they said that there are these people that come here that they were friends with our ancestors, and we were wiped out. And they are here, and again, it would fit with these stories. I don't know if it's true or not, but it fits with these stories. And if you get enough pieces, you can see the picture. But I don't know if any of it's true. But it fits where they came here to help us, and they're just giving us what we can handle or whatever. But he said that we got wiped out, and they're here to help us rebuild, and it's taken a fucking while. But you know, I think that Jim Jeffries, he's a comedian. He was talking about if you think about the American people or the human race as a train, you've got these people that you know the Jewish space lasers, the ones that are fucking oh, I think I'm Moses, and Donald Trump was saying he was like King David. If we didn't have these fucking people on the train, how much faster would it be going? If we didn't have flat earthers, if we now this one I'm a little I don't really know which way to come down on, but the anti-vaxxers are just stupid. They were, but maybe you shouldn't be an anti-vaxxer. You should be not stupid. But if you didn't save everybody with vaccines, if you let polio wipe out, maybe that's thinning the herd, and maybe that would make the train go by faster. But some of those pandemics, they can wipe out the whole species. But if we got rid of these stupid people, maybe the train would be going faster. And the American Southwest, you have I think it's the Hopi Nation, Native people. Their legend tells us of the Kachinas, and they had a guy from the Navajo. He's I've seen him on Skinwalker, and he's on a whole bunch. He's on other stuff too, but he's on a whole bunch. He's on more than one show on History Channel, and he's been on other. So he must be fairly well respected. But he was talking about the Kachinas, and he said all native people have something similar. And could that be related to what is on the Skinwalker Ranch? And there's things that they felt were. I mean, the way they describe them, it sounds like a haunting, a possessed place. Well, maybe it's just visitors from either another dimension, another time, or another planet, and maybe they've this I'll get into this more later, but maybe they know how we are, and they just want to keep them fucking far away from them. Think about it. We're primitive people who fight all the time, and we've got nuclear weapons. Uh, Maybe they just don't want to deal with the fucking headache. You know, you take a look at. I think this is true. It might just be for the movies, but uh, the Robin Hood movies, they showed that he put wind chimes on us to make him think it was haunted. Now, from what I've heard, it's a little more than wind chimes than that, but maybe that's just their way to keep us out of the way. Maybe to keep us safe, or maybe just because they don't want to deal. Like what's that one movie Legion or whatever? It's got that girl from the Orville on there, and she goes, somebody asked her character, well, why did God give up on us? And she goes, maybe he just got tired of all the shit, and they could just be keeping us at a distance. They wanted to keep us safe, or maybe because if the stuff they say is true, I firmly believe that the entity or whatever you want to say could kill us. Um, and they haven't. I don't think there's anybody that's been dead. Oh, hopefully nobody that doesn't deserve it. But maybe that's just their way to keep us out from underfoot because they don't. They seem to have gone out of their way. Now they haven't been afraid, But again, maybe it's a little tough love, if somebody comes there and they're fucking around with something, maybe it's time to get the paddle out. That's a paddling. We're gonna fucking zip your head up, or we're gonna expose you to radiation. That's a paddling. But they haven't killed anybody. Might have shortened their life a little bit, um, but again, the legend tells us they came to visit us and pass on knowledge. Most specific, agriculture, astronomy, and medicine. You know. Speaking of Graham Hancock's book, Claim of Learning, one book I read by Carlos Castaneda, it's the same book, series of books. I can't tell you which one it is. I think it was the first one, but I'm not sure. And just so you know, if you read the first two books and then you read the third kind of started over again. Because what he said was, I think this is in the third book, but he covers a lot of the same for the first third or first half of the book. He pretty much covers a lot of stuff that happened in the first two books, but he said that his perspective changed and he learned he was all wrong, so he needed to cover it. And this again, not to get into what I'm about or what it's about, but that I think was the ultimate lesson, that the guy was the guy that recommended I read it. I think that's the ultimate lesson, because there was something else I did, and I've done that. I've done that at least two or three times. You learn something, you think you understand it, and then a couple years later, you're like, okay, now I'm figuring out now that I know more, I know that's wrong. And if I was healthy, I think that I would still be doing that. If I was still able to grow and stuff in there, I think that, and I think you can do that with almost any subject. You know, um, you're not necessarily wrong, but a better understanding gives you a different clarity, and you refine sometimes you're just flat out wrong, and sometimes it's just you refining your thoughts on something. And but he approached one person in the story. It was the Don. I think it was the Don Juan character, and I don't know if he used a fake name or if that's really what he called him, but it might have been for his anonymity. But he told him when he approached him. That's why I think it's in the first book. He approached him and told him that he wanted to learn about he Yaqui. I might not be pronouncing this wrong, right, and if I am, I apologize. But he wanted to learn about Yaqui Indian herbal medicine, and he said he didn't know because he took it that from people he had talked to, because he was going around asking, they all told him the same thing. If they knew anything about it, they said, well, this is the guy you got to talk to. And so he was considered a medicine man or a shaman or a witch doctor or whatever the fuck he. But he didn't really get hung up on titles. But when he approached him, he said, "Well, you need to speak to the plant. I don't know anything." And that is something that I thought of when Graham Hancock was talking about uh, meeting that entity that gave him all this knowledge, and then he wrote a book. And it just, again, it's these things from like different things, and it's like, well, there's a similar thread. So I don't know, maybe there is something to that. And okay, now this one here, please write to anybody you would that you vote for. We need to get assisted suicide legalized. Um, it's a long story, but we watch hospitals and insurance companies murder people because nobody wants to pay for it, and so they go to court, they get the permission to pull the plug. Um, well, if they can do that to somebody they don't know, I should be able to do that because I got health issues or I can't work. And I'm not even mad because the disability they give you is a fucking joke. I watch what I'll probably get more because I actually worked a good job. But I look at the shit my brother, and again, it is what it is. But I look at what he's given to live on, and